Welcome to the KOO news for the 13th of March. Let's start with the blue posts of the past 2 weeks. There have been quite some blue posts. I'm going to explain some major changes, but if you want to see all of your class specific changes, I suggest that you pause the video or go to mmochampion.com. As I said in the previous KOO news, flying mounts can now be used in Ghostlands. And the Death Knight spell Raise Ally will become a battle res similar to Rebirth. The spell has a 10-minute cooldown and costs 50 runic power. In Battlegrounds, the flag carrier debuff will be adjusted. It will now be a stacking debuff which increases in power each minute. The respawns in the Battle for Guineas have changed. This will cause less graveyard camping. The character frames and target frames can now be unlocked and moved, just like the focus frame. Ambassador of the Alliance now requires Guineas as well. If you already have the achievement, you will not lose your title. Blizzard also posted an explanation for the World of Glory spell and the Druid Restoration Tree nerf. If you're interested, please take a look at it on mmochampion.com. The Tulbarat daily walk a mile in their shoes has been taken out of the respawn rotation, as the gnome was just too stupid to follow the path. How about Violence, you might ask? Violence will be launched in patch 4.2. Blizzard explained that they didn't feel the need yet to throw in a new raid tire. Patch 4.2 will launch shortly after 4.1 and is already in the testing phase. Then you might want to know what will be featured in patch 4.1. That's also known now. It'll be Zul'Gurub, Zulaman, new Stranglethorn Vale quests, new pets, mounts, a new gear level, and guild quests. If there's more information on the guild quests in the next KOO news, I will of course explain them. Apart from WoW, Blizzard has done a lot of work over the past 20 years. They've released a video in which they show how they started creating their games and how Blizzard became such a big company. I suggest that you watch it on the Blizzard website. You can now rest people who have released by just clicking on their portrait. No need for hunting corpses anymore. The loot list for Zul'Gurub and Zulaman is also online. If you're interested, you can find the complete list with stats on mmochampion.com. And last but not least, Blizzard has admitted that they've overfaced some terrain and they're trying to find a solution for it. There are also some models I'd like to show you that will be added in the game in either 4.1 or 4.2. You can also take a look at the Zulaman and Zul'Gurub zone maps. What we do know now is that in patch 4.2 you can get a new legendary staff. As you can see, the staff has 3 different models, which indicates that you'll probably have to do a quest chain similar to Shadowmourne to get it. Okay, now it's time for the officer news. First I want to thank Kiri, who has stopped as an officer. She doesn't think that she can do a job as well as she'd want to with the current playtime she has. Kiri, thanks for all your help and all the effort you've put in the guild as an officer. We will miss you at the meetings. In the last week, Summer has set up some clear raiding rules for the guild. I'll go through them quickly. Some of the raid requirements are still being discussed by the officers, so these requirements are not final yet. The rest of the rules are. Okay, these are the current requirements to be able to join Cataclysm raids with the guild. Tanks need to have enough parry, dodge and block rating. They need 140k HP unbuffed and an average item level of 346. Healers need 1800 combat regen, 6500 spell power and an average item level of 346. And DPS need to be hit capped. They need to be able to do at least 10k DPS on target dummies and need an average item level of 346. Okay, as for the other rules, these are final. All raid invitation must be accepted or declined at least 24 hours prior to the event. If you sign up tentative, means that you may be replaced on that particular night. If you sign up but don't show up many nights, then you will get a penalty from the officers. Only Massacre members or standard bearers may sign up to the event. All other sign-ups will be treated as invalid. All raiders are expected to attend to at least one farmathon a month, or to provide at least one stack of buff items for raiding purposes. Your raid leaders will advise what is appropriate based on current inventories. We also don't want to see any examples of misuse of Ventrilo anymore. This includes swearing, invasive general chit-chat and abusive behavior. Ventrilo is primarily to allow raid leaders to explain tactics and issue instructions during the raid. All raiders are required to study tactics prior to the raid and be familiar with the proposed encounter. KOO also has a strict system of loot rules now. These apply to guildies and non-guildies who attend to a raid. The rules are: you roll with main spec first, that's the spec you're currently playing. Then off-spec rolls, if no main spec rolls. Greed rolls are allowed when no main or off-spec rolls. Only one item per instance or wing, unless there are no other main or off-spec rolls for that particular item. You may not roll for alts unless it is with the express consent of the entire raid group. If any deviations are made from these loot rules, they must be agreed by the group prior to commencing the instance. Lowest roll wins. Rule number 6. Your raid leader is God. They have the final say on all raid-related matters. If you want to make a complaint, you can do so directly to an officer or the guildmaster or via email at koofficers@gmail.com. Rule number 7. Public criticism of your fellow players will not be tolerated. If you feel you have to make a comment, this should be done in the form of a whisper to the raid leader. Rule number 8. The raid leaders have the right to remove you from the raid group. Once you commit to raid, you must be present for the entire raid during the pre-agreed hours. Breaking will be agreed prior to the start of the event, and unsanctioned be-right-backs may result in your removal from the raid group. KOO is committed to progressive raiding. This means we need you to take the raid seriously. However, attitude should be left at the door. Success is achieved by careful planning, a helpful, positive atmosphere, being properly equipped and geared, knowing how to play your character, being able to follow instructions and by understanding what is required of you. Recount hogs are not welcome. Above all, remember that you are a team and that you are meant to be having fun. You wipe, you learn. Now for some joyful news. We got one newly dinged level 85 in the guild over the past 2 weeks. Congratulations to Sephiroth. As for the achievements and events, we got one guild achievement these past 2 weeks. This achievement is Kill Squad. Our guild also dinged last week. We got the guild perk Gmail, which allows us to send mails to fellow guild members without having to wait for an hour for the mail to arrive. The next guild perk is for Great Justice. That perk increases our justice point gains by 10%. There are only 2 events on the calendar so far. The first event is the Retro Raid Day, which is being organized by Kiri. She leads this raid group to Ulduar for some achievements and maybe even a mount. This event will occur today, Sunday, at 3 o'clock realm time. On Tuesday we have the Massacre Raid. We're going to Bastion of Twilight once more, this time to actually kill Valiona and Thuralion. We got a chance to get to know the tactics last week, so we can win this time. And for the last thing that I'm going to show in this KOO news is a picture of the Daily Blink. This picture features a Goblin Death Knight who explains to you why you should not bug.
I must not bug. Bug is the time killer. Bug is the little death that brings total humiliation. But I will lead my bug. I will permit it to run with me and through the instance. And when it has wiped, I will turn the inner eye to inspect their gear. Where the noobs were, there will be nothing. Only lead will remain.
Thanks for watching everyone, and I hope to see you all next week. Bye!